There we go.
Okay,
That's as good as we're gonna get, dude.
Yeah, it's okay. What is up, everybody, and welcome to Joker's annual podcast, because we don't know how to post one more than, once a year. So today we have Steven and Ariel,
Hello.
guests who have been on the podcast before.
Quick disclaimer. I have a pigeon, so if you hear wings flapping in the background, it's my bird, and Steven has a car that just keeps honking on its own. So if you hear that, that's what it is.
Yeah, you're right. So
the fact that your pigeon disclaimer is a real thing is so sad.
The viewers might be shocked by the fact that you have a pigeon, but it won't shock you once you get to know Ariel, which we hope you'll get to know all of us.
Yeah, for real. Well, if you guys have watched the podcast at all, which I know like a lot of our viewers haven't, then you've probably known these people before. If you've seen the last couple of videos, Steven and I have been putting out content together for a while. If you're a fan of the channel, then Ariel has been around the channel since the very start. Yeah. So these two have been integral parts in like Joker's history, and we've done this podcast before in the past. We've done a couple of runs of trying our hand at recording a podcast, but because of scheduling and because of just us not being good at what we do, we often fall off. So now that this whole situation the world is in is going on right now, we actually have time to sit down for an hour and talk about stuff. So with that being said, the majority of what we're going to be talking about is going to be art related or, just creativity related and mainly us shooting the shit. Yeah, exactly. I don't know why I thought you said ice related.
We're going to talk about ice products.
Yep. Sans ISIS. We don't talk about that. We do not claim that. And demonetized.
So I do want to say that one of the main reasons we're bringing the podcast back is all the overwhelming support you guys gave to the first, second, and the phantom third one. It really seems like we helped a lot of people, and we helped a lot of people drop out of school, which is amazing.
Yeah. Every time I see that, I get so shocked.
That's the point of that video.
I'm like, wow.
But in all seriousness, I feel like we connected with people that kind of view art the same way that we do, and maybe thought that they were alone in their thinking and realized that they're not alone. They have us, and we're all garbage. So yeah. Exactly.
Like collective garbage, and I think that's the important part. Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's been a pretty interesting thing, like watching this happen in real time. We recorded that art podcast. I think we've done 2 art podcasts, and then the rest were all just like comedy based, but comedy air quotations. But I've gotten so many messages of people, like Steven said, talking about how they dropped out of college, which for the record clearly was not the intent of that video, but our personal experiences, I do not want others to just hold on to. But if you really think you relate with what we're saying and you see,
if it like helps you out on your
a way moving forward, then by all means, like look to us on that aspect. But just a disclaimer moving forward with this advice. The three of us, although we're in pretty good standing, we are not in the industry by any means, by like industry standards wise. Like we are not big names. We are not people who are getting jobs left and right for the most part. We do not have a big name studio. We're not doing big things. What we do have though, is we have a bunch of people who are creative and who have garnered followings as well as talent, and people who are business savvy. So again, our group of friends, we are making moves, but we're not like the end all be all. So don't think that like if we're like, damn, we hated college, don't think that means college does not get you industry jobs, because that's not the point we were trying to make. We're just saying if we're going off of like our own, unique perspectives, then obviously it's going to be different from the rest. So again, I just wanted to make that disclaimer real quick. But for all the people who have like come out in support of the podcast, like seriously, it's been so wonderful seeing that people feel like they're being listened to, which is why we're doing
definitely
it.
Motivating. Whenever I look it up, I kind of just scroll through the comments kind of quickly. I'm just like, yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really great feeling. With that being said, the way we're going to format this is Steven is going to be the moderator of these podcasts, so he'll have topics and questions that he'll throw at us, and pretty much everyone else, as well as Steven, who could join the conversation, obviously. We'll discuss that stuff. So take it away, Steven. What's the first thing on the chopping block?
Right. So the first topic is this whole pandemic that we're going through. Is it real or is it propaganda?
Or is it a hoax?
It's the 5G towers getting in our blood.
No. How has it affected your workflow? Has it been better since you have less distractions? Has it been worse because you feel like, I don't know, maybe you have an art block because you're not inspired by anything because you're not going out? I kind of want to hear from Ariel first, mainly because I want Joe to shut the fuck up for a second.
Yeah, please.
So you have the floor, Ariel.
Yeah, there's definitely some pros and cons with the time of all the time that you get from staying home.
Yeah, exactly. And what I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Definitely the time is definitely a really nice little reward for I mean, like I've only really seen the benefits of the situation, which I mean I've been fortunate enough to live to deal with, but I've had more time to kind of just study. I haven't really been actively posting too much on my feed. I've been more active on my stories on Instagram, which is at Pistol Pen. And I've really been studying more like storytelling and writing for the time being. The cons to it though is just like I've been buying a lot of video games, so I've been getting like Game Boy games. I'm getting like Game Boy games and just killing time with Smash, man. Smash and Animal Crossing. But
it's crazy for you because you're someone that finds a lot of inspiration from the outside. Like you go to a lot of galleries, museums, and even just nature you draw from. So has that been hard for you? Not being able to do those things?
Not necessarily, because I always also like on commutes to galleries or wherever I'm going, I also look around a lot for artists on like Twitter and Instagram. So I kind of just like look at their work and I save their work as well, just to hold on to. And then from there, like I look at who they're following and who they're interacting with as well. And if I like their, if I'm really like feeling that artist's work, then I check them out too. It's kind of just like a constant flow of information.
What about you, Joe?
So, well, I just have a question for Ariel real quick, because you actually made a really good point with the Ariel often goes outside and experiences life. Like a loser. One thing I wanted to ask you was in terms of, like you said, you've been studying. Do you find that now being contained for so long, are you like gaining more information than naturally? Or do you think being able to segment your study time worked better for you? Like, are you learning more now than you were previously?
Yeah, because
is it like information overload?
I would say since there's so much information, it kind of like it can kind of overwhelm me a little bit, and because like since there's so much time, it's kind of like hard to manage it. So there's that little bit of overload, but it's definitely a nice situation to have as opposed to trying to deal with like a day job, because
yeah, dude, it feels like you have like 18 hours to yourself now.
Right. So like, and I don't have to like combat that with stuff from the outside. So it's a pretty cool situation, and I have honestly at this point I've spent a month like studying just writing, and I have like this whole binder of just like workbooks and notes, and I've written about like 160 pages of notes, and I'm like compressing that and kind of flipping back and forth, and it's definitely been a really nice situation though. It's overwhelming, but I managed to kind of just get to a point where like I'm pretty much done with this. Like I can just reference this now. This is kind of just reference material for me to come back to, and now I can just get back to working on the things that I do need to work on. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's been pretty cool.
Cool. Crawl.
I
guess for me,
pretty freaking epic.
Joe.
Oh wait, I actually realized I had Ariel muted this entire time.
Yeah.
Ariel, can you run back that entire
Yes,
thing? No, I'm kidding.
Right back here on my audio.
Yeah, right back. Take it back. The last thing I heard was that you have a pigeon. I'm sorry. Muted you the moment those words left your mouth. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I agree with Ariel in the fact that he has a pigeon, because he does. But also the fact that
Yeah.
clearly the situation that the world is in is really shitty. I think it's kind of demoralizing at this point, seeing that things aren't ever really going back exactly the way people wanted. So with that being said, I was living my best life at the start of this because it meant a lot of time to do commissions, and no real distractions, which was nice for the work, obviously. But I'm at the point now where my social life is so, deteriorated that it's starting to bleed into work, like I've been working. So, when all this went down, I was working on a couple of things. I was really, really heavy into commissions. I mean, I was probably banging out like 3 a day, posting them on Reddit, getting more commissions, really trying to get my name out there. And then that started to slow down because people started to, lose their jobs or not have a job to go to. So they weren't making as much money. So they weren't spending their, well-earned money on stupid things like drawings. So when word started getting light on that side of things, I started working on my submission for the webtoon contest, which, if you guys watch this channel, I just did the video explaining it. And that thankfully has taken a lot of time. I mean, literally my day from start to end is I get up, I start working on the chapter, and then by the end of it, I finish a page if I'm lucky that day. And if I'm not doing any other work. So I don't think I would have that productivity if it wasn't for the quarantine. I think it would be a lot more spread out. So in that way, I'm kind of thankful. But again, it's been very hard because I think being able to take a break from your art is also very important. And I think it's the unsung hero of an artist. Like being able to stop doing your art and talk to a friend or, a loved one, or to go out and do something like that stuff is so important to the craft. Yeah. Because it allows you to go back to your work with, a clear set of eyes, like just kind of a clean slate almost. Whereas what I was doing, especially for the first chapter, I spent the first chapter was literally 18 hours straight of work. I did not stop because I was trying to. Yeah. And it was, I don't think I've ever worked that long by myself, let alone in general. And so when I finished the first chapter, I took like 3 days off from drawing that stuff. And I went back to doing like commissions, just because it was so much. And that's why I asked Ariel about the overload, because I feel like I get burned out really fast, but especially for the contest, I have to keep going. So again, it's kind of a curse. The good thing for all of this, for me at least, is I worked from home already. So not much is different. Like my family's home now. The only thing that's really different is, I can't hang out with friends, can't hang out with my girlfriend. I'm stuck with my family. I can't really play video games because if I do, I'll get locked in. You know what I mean? So like there's way more negatives than positives. So in that way, yeah, I think really I'm taking the butt end of this because I was already home doing work. Mm-hmm. Now I'm home doing work while everyone else is also home doing work. Exactly. With the people I hate most. My mom. Kidding. But yeah, so it's a double-edged sword.
I feel like the biggest positive from all of this is like this pandemic really put like a pause on things, and I feel like a lot of people, and I'm surprised at how many people are using this time to like really sharpen their craft or like learn as much as they can.
Right.
And it almost feels like we're in a hyperbolic time chamber where we are just training for when the world opens back up. Because
Yeah, that's so funny.
because
It's so funny you said that.
you've been working a crazy amount of hours, and the time it takes you to finish a piece is way shorter than before. Ariel's
Yeah.
studying, learning new things, and I feel like we're all just using this time to our benefit. Right now, I'm really trying to figure out this YouTube thing, really help Joe create content for you guys, and I'm really focusing on editing and how to make the videos entertaining and as well as informative, and make it so that, well, I'm really honestly trying to figure out the algorithm so that the videos get to you guys, because for some reason YouTube doesn't want the videos to get to people.
What? That's
Yeah.
So that's a whole thing. So-
Thanks, YouTube. Yeah, I do agree with you. I saw a post that said like that this like the whole quarantine stuff is just an anime time skip arc. And like when
Exactly.
everybody comes back, everyone's gonna be like mad brolic or smart or whatever.
actually,
but we're
I have a
the-
In our
question.
case, it's just gonna be talented and
question,
We're the
fat.
actually.
Yamchas of the art, though. We train and still get our ass beat.
Yeah,
I got a question for Joe.
exactly. But hey, he got his own spinoff, so maybe we'll find luck there.
Joe, I got a question real quick. So, for going back to like the topic about commissions, when you briefly mentioned it, do you think this is like actually also in a way sort of a good time to kind of just look for commission work? Because I mean, aside from people losing their jobs, people are also receiving some type of benefits. Like another an example is kind of just recently I've been seeing like Amazon get their revenue up, so people are really spending their money.
Yeah.
And I mean, another example
Yeah.
is like just me, like I'm buying games that I normally wouldn't have before. So would you also say that this is a pretty decent time to start putting your work out there for commission work?
Yeah, I think if you are an artist and you were worried about finding work or like you've never done it, now is 100% the time to try. I think where I was coming from with that was like a lot of I've been lucky enough to have a commission base of people who are returning customers.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people expressed like, hey, like I would get commissioned once or twice a month from the same people sometimes. Obviously, I'll have like the outlier of like someone, hitting me up and being like, hey, I want a commission. But a lot of my people are returning, and a lot of people were like, hey, it's going to be a little bit tough because we are budgeting our money and maybe like that's not what we want. Because the thing is I think a lot of people spend their money on entertainment, but commissions are a little bit harder to sell. Like you've been buying games, you mentioned that's a really good, in my opinion, I think that's a good place to put your money currently, just because you need entertainment at this point. Because if you don't have it, you will go insane. So I think a lot of people are like buying Nintendo Switches or subscribing to Netflix or Disney Plus if they haven't already, and like that I think is an easier sell than commissions. But I do think you're right in the fact that if someone's going to buy commissions, now's the time where they're going to find you, because everyone's home, everyone's on their computer. So yeah, I think if you're an artist and you want commissions, start posting your stuff now. Also, one thing that one piece of advice that I have for people who are trying to do commissions, and it's going to start real bad, but I'm going to explain the sentence. So just know that going in. Lie about it. Lie about what you're doing. Post art that you've done for yourself and say someone commissioned you.
Yep.
Because that way people
Fake it
think
till
that
you
you're
make
getting work. Fake it till you make it. Exactly. once
They're
you
like-
I had a
They're
Pokemon
like,
piece.
People are buying this garbage.
Exactly, and they'd be like, "Shit!" Exactly. I posted on Reddit. I was in like a commission drought for a while because I had stopped accepting them. But right before the quarantine hit, I posted a picture of this Pokemon drawing I drew back in 2017. So it wasn't even my current art style. And it was of my player character in the game in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and with my team. So I posted that picture on Reddit. And I, no joke, got 6 commissions from that. That is all because I said, hey, did this commission recently. And then people were just like, oh, wow, how much do you charge? Blah, blah, blah. So always go to Reddit. Always say that it is a commission that you're posting, because then they'll feel more comfortable. And, work on your etiquette with people, because that's important. Remember, you don't just draw. You do have to speak to people.
And also, you don't even have to use this time for commissions. Really, if that's not something that you do, you can always work on that resume. A lot of artists got laid off, people.
Yeah.
Those jobs are there for the taking. It's your time. Why should Jim be a graphic designer for this company and feed his family when you can do it so you can buy the DLC for Pokemon?
Exactly.
So I feel like working on your resume, working on your portfolio, I feel like those things are crucial for when the world opens back up again and you want to get out there, get your dream job. I feel like a lot of you guys have the time. You obviously have the time, but I feel like you guys can come up with something like amazing. Like, look up how to create a portfolio, look up what people look for.
Yeah.
In your portfolio, show if you don't have a wide range in your art. Like, let's say you do one specific thing, maybe try and branch out, do different things. Because I remember, Joe, when you were revamping your portfolio, you were doing a lot of different things that you don't normally do. Like, I think you were doing watercolors, stuff like that. Showing whoever's looking for people that you can also do these things. Like,
Exactly.
People are hiring people that have a big range of like things they know how to do. Like, if I'm hiring Joe and Joe doesn't know how to do watercolors, then I have to hire someone else to do it when I could have just had one person doing it,
Yeah. I think it's important as an artist to cast a wide net, but also be strong in your area. And I think the great thing about the people on this podcast currently is, I think out of and again, I'm not saying this to put anybody down, but I think out of our group of friends, aside from Angel, because he's currently in school doing a lot of things, I think the 3 of us kind of cast an extremely wide net with our like abilities and what we know. You know what I mean? Like, I think the 3 of us offer pretty interesting takes because we've all done like really random one-off things, or we have interests that are different from, the stuff we do. Like, Ariel, for instance, is someone who is able to draw something as kind of mainstream as like an anime picture, as well as have knowledge in like, actual like more paint based work, or like actual like historical pieces. Like, Ariel, I think you pride yourself in your knowledge of art. I think you have a very wide interest in terms of like style.
You can take both of those things and make them shitty, Ariel. I feel like
oh yeah. No, I love that. There's the fan art that I did for Joker's webtoon, and then I was just crying because I wanted to make it look like that. What's the name of that piece, man? It's that famous one. Of that old guy eating that baby.
Jamie put the picture up.
Yeah. We're gonna need that one. But God, I wanted to make it as like nasty as that. He's like holding his himself in his hands, and it's just
with shit in his pants.
I love doing that. I think this time has given me like a pretty good understanding of like where my interests lie. Like in terms of like style and what really makes me laugh and what makes me like interested in like drawing things and seeing where I can draw fast. So that kind of stuff is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the stuff that takes more time too. So like for example, I haven't posted it yet, but I have some. I have like a watercolor doodle that I've been doing, and then I have like acrylic stuff that I'm doing too. So it's pretty cool in terms of style as well. Just like that nasty, grotesque style is like one of my favorite shits. Like it's fucking fun.
It's weird. You choose like the most beautiful mediums, and then you draw horrific shit, and it's fantastic. But like that's what I mean.
I'll doodle like nasty shit. But I also like the pretty stuff too. The elegant shit.
Your drawings, and that's the thing. Like that's what I'm trying to say is like you cast a wide net because stylistically you offer like a unique voice, and the work you do is. Damn, bit. Like I think that's why your work comes through so like genuine because everything you do is so like on brand. Like you can do something really stupid, but then you'll put up one of your like really intense, like gorgeous pieces that clearly took you super long. And I can still point to you and be like, yeah, that's you. You know what I mean? Like it's still, and that's what I mean is like you use all these mediums, but at the end of the day, your voice is similar. And that's what people hiring want. They want someone who can do a lot, but still be like them. Like basically a jack of all trades while being like not an ace of none, obviously, but while being someone who can deliver them uniquely. And I think that's important. So if you are an artist and you are trying to, make a portfolio, yeah, it is important to show all parts of your art, not just what you do best. Obviously you want to, like for me, my main thing was character. I was going to say character customization. Wow.
We gonna pimp out your character.
I play video games. But I would do like character like profiles and really I wanted to be a character artist. I wanted to create characters for, TV, comics, whatever, as well as have my own comic. But at the end of the day, just focusing on that didn't give me an appreciation of like, what other mediums do. So what Steven was talking about was, I actually started watercoloring. And that was vastly important for what would become my style now. Like I don't watercolor anymore, but a lot of the techniques that I learned from that point, I transferred into what I love, which is digital art, and found ways to kind of.
That's so important. That's so good because it's like.
Yeah, and I think
when you bring like traditional work into digital work, like the whole process and mediums into that, it's just it gives a whole different vibe, a whole different feel, and your work definitely you can kind of feel that from there. Like you can feel that you took that element of watercolor in there, and it's just it's like it's so appealing. But I love it.
I think it's important. To expand your horizons because then you find out what you like. And that's important because you want to draw what you like. That's what's going to get you the jobs. That's what's going to get you the money. Is you draw what you like, you get good at it, and then you create that demand. Yeah. Like Ariel drew my character shitting himself while holding the fetus version of himself. Like I didn't even know I wanted to see that, and then I saw it and I was like, you know what? Shit, am I going to pick this guy to win this contest? But it's important. It's important for you to create that demand. And if your style is similar to someone else's, that doesn't mean your voice isn't unique. It just means you execute it differently. Like that's the whole thing. Like there's a lot of people who draw like fucking Tyke Kubo, the creator of Bleach. Fucking every artist on Instagram that draws anime has to draw like this dude. And it's like, we get it. Bleach look cool.
That's important for artists to like really to know when they're practicing. Like there's this channel called Proco, and he did a podcast with Marshall Vandruff is this old instructor dude, but they're really chill. They talk about in this one episode about art parents. Like if you're trying to capture a style you can have, let's say, yeah, like Taikubo, and then you could have like, let's say Kishimoto who did Naruto. You could study from those two and grab like elements from those styles, or like just straight up like copy them, and then kind of just take pieces and then make their essences like into your style. So it's
exactly.
Pretty cool.
I mean, personally, I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
Like, that's why, and like, Ariel and I mean, back in like 2015, Ariel, you remember when we would just study, like we would just have our sketchbooks and we would just study artists. Like, I mean, we would do that for hours of just like picking artists that we like, doing a master study of them. And I mean, that's why I wanted to start the series Master Study on the channel, which episode 1 is out. You guys should check it out. But, I think it's important because the thing is I think with like Tumblr and Twitter artists being all like antsy to call out people, which I think for certain things you should. I think it scares people at the idea of referencing people's work. You can reference someone's work and learn their style as long as you don't say it's yours. And that's the important thing. If you like, again, Taikubo and Masashi Kishimoto's work and you want to find a nice blend, by all means, study their work. You could copy exact panels. You could break them down. Just don't say that work is yours until you create something unique.
That's a good point. That leads me into one of the comments on our last on the last podcast. So Lara Kazarts.
Hey, Lara Kazarts.
I don't know if I'm saying that right, but the name will be up on the screen. She or he says, I don't judge. Well,
or they.
Or okay, so it says, whoa, I'm so happy to have found this. This has honestly been something I truly needed to listen to. I'm an artist, and like most, I'm struggling with colors, motivation, or just plain sticking to a whole thing. I've tried to reach out with my other fellow artist friends or looking up inspirational videos, but still struggle to find my niche. Family and friends are supportive, but the struggle and fear to just This struggle and fear just leaves me alone more than ever. I dream to become more, or at least recognized. Thank you guys so much for the upload, and I hope to hear more. First of all, thank you for commenting.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was very sweet.
Sharing that. I know it's hard to share things like that, but I feel like people should share things that they're thinking about, especially when it comes to art, because I feel like with art, you really can't come up with the answers on your own,
Yeah.
And so basically she says she struggles to find her niche. What do you guys think about that? Have you guys found your niche?
Go ahead, Ariel. I think you should open with this one.
I think I have. Back to what I said like a little bit earlier about
I thought you were gonna say. I think I have. Back to.
Actually,
I did. All right,
Steven,
guys. Thanks so much for watching.
The thing, like, it takes a lot of trial and error and messing around with like what you feel like really gets you like motivated or just like excited to kind of just draw it. Like, I thought that was kind of like a corny, kind of just not unbelievable kind of thing. But as you kind of just go and you get more familiar with what you're looking at or with what you're doing, it kind of just like you start to realize it. So as you practice, it's definitely insert the thing to tie the whole conversation back to the question because I forgot. but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think you build your niche once you've found your voice. Stuff like that is said so much, but like as Ariel said, I think when you're young and you're starting art and you hear these things, you're like, wow, that's corny. It only takes, 10 years of doing it, 15 years of doing it, 20 years of doing it. And then you're like, oh, wait, you know what? That advice is real. And it's like that with anything. It's like that with anything, really. You hear the advice and you think to yourself, it can't be that easy. And then when you're on the other side of it, you look back and you're like, wow, it really was.
But
that
as a niche
easy.
though, it's like it's kind of weird, like to kind of think of it as that, because as I'm drawing weird shit, like I don't feel that it's much of a niche. I feel like it's just, I don't even think of it in that term. It's just a part of me that needs to just shit post, or just a part of me that needs to just let out what what I think. Oh my god, my bird stepped on my food.
That's an interesting take, though. Just do what feels right.
Yeah,
that's an interesting take, though. Your bird stepped on your food. Yeah, I mean, look, the weird thing is I've Ariel, obviously I've known you since the start of your art journey. You've seen me at when I was drawing like trash like last week.
Yeah, bro, that was
but
awful.
I think what's really weird is we've seen each other grow as artists, but and I'm speaking for me on this part, I can't speak for you here, but like, even though you've gotten 1,000 times better, 1,000,000 times better, I still see you in your old work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think what you draw changed. I think how you draw changed.
The application changed.
Exactly. And I think that's the important thing that artists need to also remember is, funny enough, and this is a little bit off topic to the question, but on topic to what I'm saying here. I actually just got a message from an old friend of mine who I haven't talked to in a long time.
Tell him I said hi.
They were just basically reaching out.
Name and address, please.
I was gonna give my address, and I was like, wait, that's just as bad. So this friend reached out to me, and we were just having a normal conversation, but then randomly brought up my art and was like, hey, saw what you're doing. Can't believe how good you've gotten. I really like how you still have your vibe, like the same vibe as your old work.
Right. Oh, okay.
And getting that message was kind of the moment I realized, and this was real recent.
That was the vibe.
That it's a vibe. I passed vibe check. But it was at that moment that I realized, like, it wasn't me as an artist who changed. It was my skill that grew. I didn't evolve out of my taste. Obviously some people will, but they'll still be particular to certain things. Like, Ariel, you don't draw as super anime as you did at the start of your journey, where you were basically just drawing your own versions of Naruto, because that's what everyone was doing. We were all drawing our own versions of Naruto and Sasuke. And
I was drawing Yu Yu Hakusho. Excuse me.
Oh, sorry. I forgot you're from the Bronx. And Yuyasha?
I watched
Fucking
Naruto
solely
strictly in English.
Bro. I have a tattoo of Goku.
With his fist being my fist.
No, that's the Luffy one.
Same shit, bro. Same shit. Who cares? It's the same thing.
But yeah, I think when you're young, obviously everyone draws similar. Like, everyone from our generation who liked anime and wanted to draw always drew the baggy Dragon Ball Z pants on their characters.
Exactly.
And like, that's the thing. It's like, I think you said it the best, Steven. It's application that changes, because you don't really become a better artist. You just understand. And that's why I get into a lot of fights with people. And I mean, it's completely off base, and I should be way more supportive because they're just saying nice things. But people who are like, you're so talented, get me really heated for some reason.
You give them the artist scoff. Like,
I give them the
talent.
because the thing is I think everyone has the same level of creativity. I mean, obviously some are more creative than others, but I think creativity can grow. Like, it's not like a talent you're born with. Some people are a little bit more, I guess, receptive to it, but I think it's something that it's a skill. I think you grow it as you go. So the reason I'm as good at drawing as I am now is because I drew bad for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like, I was a terrible artist for 20 years just for me to be a good artist now. So it's like when people, when you look at your favorite artist and you say, wow, I wish I had their talent, to me, you're undercutting the amount of failures that they had along the way.
Right.
because not everybody started amazing. And there are outliers of people who at a young age are really good, but it's their understanding that is better. It's not like their hand has the power to create good things. They just know, or they have a better idea of how to do things. So your goal should never be to be a better artist per se. It's to understand the craft more. That's why people do master studies. That's why you have someone like Ariel who is studying, because you're probably thinking like, why not just draw and you'll get better? You will if you keep going. But if you don't find what you're doing wrong, you'll never correct it. And if you don't correct it, practice makes habit. You'll keep making the same, you'll keep drawing fingers the same way because you're not looking on what the right way is to do it. And if you do that, then you'll always be drawing the ugly Dragon Ball Z pants that you've been drawing since you were a kid because you never Googled pants reference, and it's like, that's all it takes. If you're having trouble with something, look it up, get a better understanding.
Just like take pictures of yourself, like posing or like videos, all that stuff.
Exactly.
Helps. I had a whole gallery of just awful pictures of me posing, and that helped me a lot to like understand form and anatomy.
I saw this thing with this digital artist. I forget his name, but I don't know. This is kind of cheating. Well, it's not really cheating, but what are those little like figurines that you guys have that I remember they gave?
Oh, like the Figma.
School, yeah, that they you can make.
I actually don't
with
have
it.
one. I want to get one soon.
So that artist would take pictures of it in the pose that they wanted, and then put it on Photoshop and then draw over it.
Yeah, I don't think that's cheating. Okay, so it's not cheating because if you look at any artist from, even historically, they all had models, Some people can draw from their head. Like I'm actually blessed in the sense that because I didn't use reference all my childhood, I can sometimes just draw pretty interesting things without. Steven, even in college, have I ever referenced? Like, you would watch me draw all the time. I would just go pen and paper and attack it. But the issue is a lot of the times the pictures would be similar poses or, kind of. I wasn't doing much new because
you would have the one arm down and the one fist like.
I still do that.
Bro,
well,
I feel like you had a protractor and you put that one arm in the same angle every time. Same degrees, bro.
No, dude, I just love not having symmetry in a character sheet, okay? But no, it is very true though. But yeah, I think him doing that, all it does is if he uses it as a crutch, then it will always be a crutch. But I don't think it's bad. Like, if someone commissions you and you don't know how to do the pose, 100% do reference. Whether it's like Ariel said, take your own picture, or if you do have like one of those Figma arts, like really nice bendable figurines, use that. It really doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you still need to draw well to make it look nice. But yeah, you are cheating yourself out of eventually being able to do it.
It's a really
on your
nice
own
way to boost you, through studies. But continuously doing that's kind of like something you can definitely draw back on. I think some people ease out of it on their own too, I would think. I guess that's from my perspective, where like I wouldn't really go out of my way to just like fiddle with the pose. I'd probably just get it on paper first, because sometimes I have those moments where like I see the pose in my head and then I'll doodle it and then I'll just kind of just fix it around, see where it could be pushed. But yeah, I think that whole thing of taking a little figurine for poses, that's something to help out like when you're trying to understand something. But later on, as you continue drawing, I think that's something for you to grow out of. You could grow out of it.
Okay, so in short, Lara, when it comes to you struggling to find your own niche, just make sure you're passing your own vibe check and practicing what you love to do.
Yeah, just please don't give up. Seriously, the moment you stop is the moment it'll stop working.
And being recognized, you have 3 fans right here.
Yeah,
honestly.
So we look forward to seeing what you do. So moving on to another, not a question, but it was a statement. The reason I picked this statement is because I want to educate this person because they write, their name is Naomi Justin. They write, really appreciate this podcast. My goal is to make a living from art, and it's just really nice to hear other artists being able to and are passionate. I want to educate this person. We do not make money from art. All right? We are not making a living. That is wrong.
Yeah, I think people see the sub count and they're like, this dude is rich.
This dude's making pay.
Bro, 16,000 subs. He probably owns like the Team 10 house or something. Wow, that was the least relevant thing I've ever said. Bro, that's like 2014.
First of all, thank you for the comment. Secondly,
Gracias,
I feel
Naomi.
like we're all just figuring out what we want to do now, like how we want to make money off of it now. We chose the media route. We chose to go through YouTube as a start, and then obviously we have future plans now. But what do you guys think about eventually making a living from your art? Is that the dream?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, of course, dude. I'm finally at the point where I'm getting paid for my art, and I think people mix that up. Getting to that point's the hard part. Once you're getting paid, then it's finding the trajectory to making a living off the art. If I could, that is the perfect, that's exactly what I want. I think I've reached the point now. I mean, I'm 25. Happy birthday to me. It just passed. And I'm at the point now where I've put so many hours into this thing that I just feasibly can't see myself doing anything else. And it's kind of a selfish decision. That's one thing, is like, if you're becoming an artist, know that it is a selfish decision at first. It is a self-serving one. It is something that you are clearly putting everyone you know through stress because you are trying to do something. But when I get comments like this of people being inspired, or comments like the last one of someone who is looking to us for information and us being able to help even a little bit, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, like I'm in the right place. So hopefully I've been good to this field. I hope it's good to me, and eventually I could start making money.
And the good thing about what we're doing now is that you guys will see the process of us going from having jobs on the side to us actually making money from our crafts. And hopefully, well, I'm going to make sure of it. We document all of it so you guys can see that it is possible to make money from doing something that you love to do,
Yeah. Ariel,
what's your take on it?
I think
Ariel, you here? Did I mute you
I
again?
left the chat for a second. I'm back though.
he didn't want to hear me again.
It's really exciting to think of. I look forward to when I could really just have this as my who is that outside? All right.
It's probably your pigeon.
No. But it's really exciting to think of as the main way I'd be making income later, because it's like right now I'm kind of not even thinking too hard about it. Like, I'm kind of just like really in the groove of like understanding a lot of the things that I wasn't too aware of from before, and then kind of just thinking about now, like, how all this stuff can really be part of what makes my income later, or what will be a major contributor to my income later would be. I mean, it's just a dream come true, That's definitely what I'm striving for. But helping the community.
So yeah, Naomi,
Okay.
we aren't shit yet, and Ariel draws like shit, and I hope his bird gives him a disease.
Jesus Christ. Damn.
Thank you guys for commenting. Please continue to comment, ask us questions that either we answer it on the podcast or we answer it in the comments. All of us are very engaged with our viewers, commenters. Especially now, we'll really try to answer everyone. If we don't get to you, we might be saving it for the next podcast.
The podcast.
Yeah.
So any final thoughts from you guys? We're at the 50-minute
Stay
mark.
safe, guys. Social distance, wear your masks. Don't cross-contaminate. Hand sanitizer.
Don't have a pigeon.
No. Don't. He shitted on my
Practice
on my
social
Scott Pilgrim
distancing
book, the one that you gave me.
unless you're meeting up with your boys.
Sorry, what?
Wait, is Ariel talking? I haven't
Yeah, my
been-
bad. What?
Anyway, yeah, I just want to thank everyone for watching. This podcast is something that I think resonated a lot with us, and I'm glad it did with you guys as well. I got so many messages and emails of people thanking us, and it's nice to know that people who were similar to us are finding us and seeing some merit in what we're saying. Obviously, we joke around a lot, and I know for a lot of people it's hard to tell when we're being sincere, because we never are, even now as I speak. But I really sincerely want to thank you all. It's awesome. And I also just want to mention, like, hey, you know, I know a lot of people are waiting for more content on this channel, and I know we started the year off very strong. I mean, insanely strong. We went from 15,000 to we're almost at 17,000 now. But given what happened, you know, in the world, clearly we did lose a bit of momentum. But just know that, you know, Steven is putting a lot of time planning into this. Just know that I'm constantly working on my craft. Ariel's constantly working on his craft. The whole team, even the rest of the friends, that like we are still going to be here. We're still going to make this channel work. And I promise if you are subbed, continue to be subbed, because we are going to be doing really big things. So hopefully this podcast is a step in that direction. So yeah, be safe. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to leave your comments for the next video. And like Steven said, you know, we'll answer the ones that we can. And if not, we might be talking about it. But yeah, those are my last thoughts. So if we're good, then we're good. We could start signing off, Steven.
Also, please someone report Ariel for housing a pigeon in his apartment. And thank you. That's me signing off.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Love you all, and goodbye. Oh, wait, the red one is to start recording.